Hello, everybody. Skylar, Tara, Chosen Mountain Ministries, and our buddy Dwaine.
Hey, good to see you.
Hey.
Hey,
Actually, a lot of people don't know that Dwaine is on the board of our ministry.
that's right. Dwaine is on the board of our ministry, so he is a blessing. Man,
Yes.
in many
And a
ways.
curse, right?
No,
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 not at all. Why would you say that?
I don't know. They just seem to go together so much.
no,
Oh my goodness.
no. Deuteronomy 28 clearly defines those blessings and those curses, and you're
Yep.
not one of those curses, okay?
Good. That's encouraging, right?
Yeah. So,
Praise God.
Dwaine, not only to you guys out there who listen to Dwaine, but we also listen to Dwaine all the time too, and get advice. And on our ministry, he speaks wisdom, and man, his words are super powerful. So we're just so glad we can do the Thursdays with Dwaine because they're awesome. So yeah,
This is so much fun, right?
it is so much
It
fun,
is.
entertaining. We learn a lot, and it's just
Oh,
awesome.
wow.
So, huh?
We had a giggle moment right before we came on.
It's all part of the experience, guys. So
You gotta bring joy, right?
praise the Lord. The joy. Yeah, if you can't laugh, I mean, man, I tell you, the joy of the Lord is our strength. So praise the Lord. So
Amen.
Life is too short not to laugh.
it is, isn't it?
Yes.
So praise God.
By the way, you can catch Thursdays with Dwaine, Parenting 101, every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Welcome.
Yep.
And I'm really excited about the topic for tonight because we're going to talk about fitness. And I'm probably going to take a bunch of notes, so I hope nobody can hear me typing. I might mute myself. Let's dig in.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we kind of want to talk about. I mean, it is January, right? Usually we work on our fitness from January 1st till well after January the 4th, and then and then that goes away. Hopefully, can kind of give some. I mean, so we want to approach. Obviously, this is about parenting, so we want to approach the fitness aspect as it relates to parenting, and kind of the aspects of that can make us, help us with relationships with our kids. I've got to admit, my initial interest in fitness was more because of my mother's family history than any spiritual secrets. My mom's family, her dad had a massive heart attack. I think he was like 63. And then she had another uncle or another brother, my uncle, who passed away early 50s, and another one passed away from a massive heart attack in his early 40s. So my interest in fitness started out with that. It was like, wow, I want to be around when my kids are grown up.
Yeah.
I want to see them have kids. I want to see my grandkids. And so fitness for me has always been kind of a deal. And I think we were talking with Jessie the other day, and one of the first memories that she was sharing, we started out doing these fitness tapes, these Christian fitness tapes, and and we don't remember all the moves, right? But the one thing we all remember was it would play this song, "Oh Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth," in the background. And then we were doing this kind of side step. And so with that song going in the background, then the lady that was leading the fitness class is going left behind, right in front, left behind, right in front, right behind, left in front. And we're moving back and forth. We got the whole family in the living room, and we're doing this stupid dance move. But the funny part is, right? I mean, one of the things that help us when our kids are grown to have that kind of relationship is when you can do things and laugh together, kind of have a common interest like fitness. So not only are you mentoring fitness and the need to be healthy and to work out, but we we laughed so hard we could hardly do the exercise. And even, a couple weeks ago when we were talking to Jesse about that, and we were all laughing again because it was just, in all honesty, it was just so funny and yet great family time. So it combined family time, laughing, fitness, relationship. I mean, it combined so many aspects of fitness. And one of the things we do as a family is we tend to look for ways to do things, to have something in common. And then we walk away from that, and honestly, we can't think of anything. So we kind of don't do anything.
Yeah.
But to me, fitness, we have had as many memories in our family based on fitness related activities. I mean, I can't even list all the things, but we've had some major ones that, we had those things when we were a kid. We would do, the kids would dread it because I'd be like, okay, let's get our bikes. And they will tell you to this day, it's like, okay. And then Dad's idea of a bike ride was like 30 miles. And then if we were lucky, we could stop at a cafe on the way and then be too full to ride back home. But it just created so many memories. But then I'm just looking, when you have grandkids, it's easy not to stay fit enough to do things with your grandkids. And so activity together, physical activity together is such a bonding relationship. If you see a little kid out playing soccer and his grandpa has stayed fit enough to be able to go out and at least kick it a few times, maybe pull a hamstring and go back and sit down. But if that's happening, then even as grandparents, we have the opportunity to grow relationships because we are fit enough to get back out there. So I'm just, I was thinking today about just some of the recent physical activities that we've done that, first of all, we couldn't have done if we weren't, fit. And out of that, not only were we having time with our kids, but we were having great time with our grandkids. I don't know if you can see this shirt I've got on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna zoom in on you.
Okay.
Or move us for a second.
Yeah. Okay. So that shirt is a ride we did on our bicycles with Joy and her husband and their 4 kids. So we had 4 grandkids, and it's called the Virginia Creeper Trail, just in the edge of Virginia, which was taken out by the hurricane pretty badly. But so we they basically trailer your bikes and you up to the top of this mountain, and then you get on your bikes and ride this trail. So the first half of the trail is 17 miles long.
Wow.
And at the bottom, there's the little town of Damascus, which has some cafes, and some little shops. And so we all the grandkids, and one of them's 7 years old, but that first 17 miles is pretty much downhill. But they were such troopers, And so we got to the bottom of the mountain, 17 miles, stopped at a little cafe, and then Peter and I was like, yeah, we got to, because they advertised that this trail is 34 miles long.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
and the first 17's down the mountain. I've got to be honest, but then the next 17 miles is kind of gradually back uphill.
Oh my goodness.
So Peter and I went ahead, and it was raining, but we went ahead and finished the that remaining 17 miles, and then the ladies brought the vehicles over to pick up the weary travelers.
And how old were you when you did this, Dwaine?
Let's see, that would have been a year and a half. That was the summer of 23. So I would have been, I don't know, 74, I think.
And so, but your grandkids were the weary travelers, right? And they were the troopers. I just had
But think about that from a fitness activity standpoint, that at some point, our grandkid, that's a memory that they're going to have.
That's right.
And you're right in kind of what you're referring. If we didn't regularly ride bicycles and walk and all that, where Joy's actually into she and Peter both are walking with these weighted vests now, and so we've been doing that some. And honestly, when you're fit, you just feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're better to be around because of that.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, yeah, we got rained on. Yeah, we were tired, but I would not trade that memory for anything. So I think I'm right. That was in the summer of 23, 23, and then in the summer of 24.
Last summer.
We went to Yellowstone with Jessie and her 3 kids. So same thing. I mean, we didn't bicycle 34 miles through Yellowstone, but we did hike massive amounts. And of course, I always have to throw in, I have this incredible fear of heights. So we actually hiked to some areas, and I'm like, no, I can actually see that really well from over here.
Yeah.
You were being a trooper.
Oh my gosh. So that's just another activity where we didn't just go to Yellowstone with the grandkids and then, just sit on the porch at the lodge or something. We were actively hiking every day. So what we got to see, I mean, we drove up just as Old Faithful kind of quit spewing. And of course, we were dumb enough to think, well, that thing it's Old Faithful. It must go off again in like an hour or something. But no, it's a lot. So we stood out there for a while watching nothing, and then called it a day, right? But I'm telling you, the memories that this kind of stuff. So you're fit, you're exercising, you're getting in a lot of steps, but you're also having relationship time with your grandkids. And I mean, we did that with our kids as well. We did various activities, but this is a big deal. I mean, I know, a lot of people are setting, New Year's resolutions and trying to deal with that, but wow, part of it. So for me, not only do I have the health reason because of my mom's family's health, and then my own fitness, and then I've also got that added layer of I always wanted to, go out and kick a soccer ball with the boys, be able to do that. And now when my 14-year-old granddaughter wants to go out in the backyard and shoot some baskets, I want to be able to do that. So the fitness aspect of this is such a big thing. I was trying to think of what other trips. One of the other ones we did, this would have been in probably in 22, and we went up to the state of Washington, pretty much had the whole family. And there's a little island up there called Stehekin. It's a beautiful place, and for the most part, the only way you can get to it is by a boat. So we took the boat across the sound or wherever we were up there, and then we rented bicycles and rode through the whole island of Stehekin. Just every road and waterfall. And so you get this amazing waterfalls. And luckily, part of the trip around there was a great bakery. So we got biking and biscuits, right? We got, but once again, you're generating so much in terms of relationship with your kids. I mean, how do you can't adequately define how valuable that is. And I started kind of writing a list just of just like one word items of what are some ways that fitness benefits you in this whole parent thing. And so first is what I've been describing. It generates memories that last the rest of your life. And with your kids, that is such a big deal.
Yeah.
It gives you a chance at mentoring. And I remember when Joe was a senior in high school and he was kind of struggling with soccer. I mean, Joe was an all-state soccer player, but kind of in the middle of the season, his level had kind of dropped down. And so one Sunday afternoon, and it was cold and raining, and we were sitting in the house, and I said, Joe, why don't you, let's go get our bicycles and go for a ride. And he was happy because he knew we'd probably only do like 10 miles, right? And so we go out on this bike ride, and I had and it's raining, and we were getting kind of cold, but about halfway through the ride, I said, Joe, what do you think most other soccer players are doing right now? And he said, well, they're probably at home watching football on TV. And he was probably right. He said, but what are you doing? You're working on your fitness. You're doing things to make yourself better. So you should walk out of today knowing that you may be more prepared than the people you play this week.
Wow.
And that's really simple, right? The amazing thing is somehow, and it certainly wasn't my words. I mean, it was just somehow he played better after that. It just got him back to that zone that he was at his best in. And to this day, I couldn't tell you what happened, but I can tell you it did happen. Whether that was exercise or, part of it's relationship, right? Part of it's knowing that your dad is investing in you and spending time with you.
Yeah.
And I think one of the other benefits we did a lot of different, we did hiking, we did bicycling. The kids are all better swimmers than I am. But the nice thing about biking is it's really hard for anybody to talk on a cell phone.
Yeah.
While they're biking. You can do it, but it's risky. Right?
That would be really hard.
Very difficult.
If you're on video, at least you can get the tree right before you
Yes. Right.
For sure.
Yeah. So you just going through the benefits and plus it's an opportunity for listening. It's hard if your kids are on their phone or their iPad or their computer, then you never seem to have substantial conversations. But when you're bicycling, when you're hiking, you have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You have that relationship building, that bonding time. You have an opportunity to intentionally. I'm big with my kids. I always like to ask questions about whatever. If they had something going on in their life, I'd ask them questions. Well, the nice thing about bicycling is that we could ask questions and then just kind of sit back and listen. And once again, you're just creating layers of bonding and relationship building and being intentional. So all those things they just keep combining. And another reason, many years ago when the kids were little, and we went on our first mission trip. And then when we went on our third mission trip, it was in Brazil, and we were out in the jungle of Brazil. And we had people in our church who said, "Boy, I would really like to do that, but I just don't feel like I'm fit enough to do it." And so I kind of added that in. It was like, okay, we've got layers of why to work out, layers of why to, get in the steps, layers of why to get on the bicycle. Because I always felt like if God said, "Oh, I really want you to go, to Africa on a mission trip, but you will have to do quite a bit of walking," and you go, "Well, God, I'd really like to, but I can't."
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of reasons, other health. I get that. I understand that. But for those of us who are blessed with enough health that we can, do our part and work on our fitness, then that's another layer of why to do it.
Yeah.
Just kind of an obedience to God, right?
Right.
Yeah, you limit how usable you are for him.
You do. I mean, you guys, I know that video when you guys were in Mexico and you're walking up that mountain.
Yeah.
We were already at Denver elevation before we started walking up, and I was doing fine until we started talking, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm out of breath.
It's and yet you're still trying to minister, and you're still trying to. And I just feel like that out of these efforts, I mean, first of all, I think it's valuable for your kids to see that, as a parent, you're willing to take that time.
Mm-hmm.
Because frankly, the older you get, the more you have to work on fitness so you can be fit enough to go be fit, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go
True.
hiking, yeah, yes. So it's important that you're working out. I mean, in order to be fit, you got to be doing something when you're not doing those activities. Several years ago, Margaret and I hiked the rim to rim of the Grand Canyon. And so before we left, we were like, we were out on the road with our backpacks with weights in them, hiking up and down the road and up and down hills with weights in our backpack, so we'd be ready to hike the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
And it's kind of funny. Well, actually, we went with Rob and Catherine.
Harriman's, yeah.
So, and for most of the hike, it actually turned into a nightmare. Rob's mom was having trouble with her knee. She was in pain, couldn't move very fast. We'd allowed a certain amount of time to get to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. And we were something like 4 or 5 hours late at our arrival time. So we were hiking along the bottom of the Grand Canyon with headlamps in the dark, trying to find our way to the campground. And I think that night Margaret fell asleep halfway. She didn't even make it into the tent. She was halfway into the tent, just passed out. I'm taking her pulse because I thought, wow, she must be. I hope she's okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh, by the way,
come on in here, honey.
Oh my word. Before you finish your story, by the way, the Harrimans, Rob and Catherine are, because a lot of people probably won't know who we're talking about. Rob was my Spanish teacher in high school, and they are the directors of the YWAM Youth with the Mission base in Querétaro, Mexico, where we went on our mission trip.
Yeah.
So
yeah, awesome couple.
Yeah.
And family.
Yes.
So we get home from hiking the Grand Canyon. I'm talking to Jesse, and I said, "Oh my gosh, Rob's mom had this knee problem, and then we were in the dark, and then Margaret almost got a heat stroke. I was dipping water with my hat out of the river to dump it on her head, trying to cool her off. And then the next morning, we were all still so hot, we were just standing in the river trying to cool down. And then we got halfway up and sat. Like I said, I've got a fear of heights. I'm halfway up the south rim of the Grand Canyon, And I'm just like, whoa, I cannot stay here. I got to get on up to the top and get out of here. So we're sharing all of these, you know, events
Funny.
of the hike with Jesse. And Jesse goes, did you guys have any fun at all? And I'm like, well, that's the weird part. I wouldn't trade this for anything.
Yeah.
And I knew at the time, I thought, she really kind of thinks her mom and dad are a little bit crazy. So then you're adding another part of the fitness family dynamic is that you're a little bit crazy. But also that that adventure, you guys, I'm trying to bring in an area where you guys really shine.
I mean, you really hit it. Good job.
So, plus it's the adventure. I mean, Margaret and I have prayed all of our married life that we wanted to maintain the adventure.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't want to settle in. We didn't want to be content. We just we wanted to be active. We wanted to be, you know, we didn't want the kids to go, yeah, they're just sitting at home drawing their social security check. We wanted to be doing things. And one other story, Josh was telling me this later. I actually didn't even know this happened, and actually he's got a little bit of it in our book. But we'd gone to the lake, and I went in and asked him if he wanted to go out for a run. So, and he was telling me later. So we're jogging and just chatting, you know, as much as you can if you can breathe. And he was telling me later, he said, you know, about midway through our conversation, and he said it wasn't like there was some spectacular wisdom or anything, but I suddenly realized that I could do whatever I wanted to if I really determined that I was, you know, that I would do it. And so he had this profound insight, which maybe he would have had sitting on the porch, you know, munching chips, but
why not?
But it happened while we were jogging, and I just thought that is just kind of incredible. You know, it's kind of like the story with Joe on the bicycles, that you have things happen on these things that you don't ever expect to happen. I mean, you can't explain that. I always just feel like it was just God, you know, communicating with the kids in a way that, you know, made them better people. So that's a big part of, I'm just, you know, I'm kind of sharing some stories of fitness with our family. And just that Margaret did not grow up, you know, as an athlete. And one of the things that I wanted to stress about fitness is this isn't organized sports. Those, to me, those are two different things. Yes, you have to be fit to play organized sports, but typically there are so many activities that you can do that are independent of that, and that bond the family, that build relationships, that increase your fitness. And, you know, all of our kids played sports. We were always there for their games, but that was never the same as what we're talking about. And I think sometimes I know, you know, Joy and Peter have 4 kids, 14 and under, and their lives are just packed. By the time you get 4 kids to a soccer game, your Saturday's done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
But having fitness time together, so when we're with those kids, you know, we'll do a lot of walks through the neighborhood. We'll bicycle. It just builds adventure. It builds memory. It builds relationship. It builds an opportunity to mentor. It builds an opportunity to listen. I mean, there's so many values that come out of this, And I think one of the hardest things to get a handle on is that the fitness part, you know, that you tend to think, well, it's really about, I need to get in, you know, 12,000 steps a day or whatever. But the other aspect of fitness is the nutrition, the food aspect. That if you're not eating well, and then you can look at how you're eating, but when you look at it from this perspective and all the advantages it has in terms of your relationship with your kids and with your grandkids, then I think it's another motivation for eating well. And of course, we live in a day and age where you almost have to determine that yourself, because you know you spend 10 years eating oatmeal because everybody says how good oatmeal is, and then the next expert comes out and says whatever you do, don't eat oatmeal.
Yeah.
And,
Truth.
right? And or the same.
Expert.
Do what?
Expert.
Yes, yes. It's really how you feel, right? And knowing that. Well, my body is just functioning more cleanly because I'm eating well.
Yep.
Mhm.
So the nutrition aspect of it, of fitness, is just as big a deal as, and maybe more, because you can actually go out and, you know, run your 5K and all that. But if you're not eating well, then chances are good you're going to gain weight doing that.
Right?
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
So
You do feel a lot better when you eat better too.
you do, and then you're more, you know, I think one of the enemies of relationships with kids and grandkids is lethargy. You know, there's actually a study out now that says right after you eat, if you'll get out and walk like 15 minutes right after you eat, then that almost has more value in controlling your blood sugar than any other time. That you're getting your body functioning, you're getting your metabolism right. So that becomes, you know, there's so much new information coming out that you can't keep up with it about something as simple as fitness. But you know, the other layer is that I feel like God gave us these bodies, and you know, basically everything we have, it's kind of a stewardship issue, right?
Right.
Yes.
So the other thing, in addition to the relationships with your family, is your relationship with God. Because with a proper relationship with God, then you understand that your body, you're a steward, and that your body is the
Temple of
thing.
the Holy Spirit.
Yes. Temple.
Yeah, exactly. And so that part, that's as important as anything, right? That if we're taking care of it, as we would think God wanted us to, then that really increases the health. It increases the fitness. I mean, you look at how Jesus lived. You know, they walked everywhere they went.
Yep.
They ate a fairly simple diet, and I never met any of them, but I always had the vision that they were very healthy people. So all of those things kind of combine together in terms of fitness and tying in with your relationship with your kids. And I think getting a clear picture of that and understanding that, just to me, when you're, you know, setting a New Year's resolution, when you're trying to decide, well, am I going to do this, you know, the second week of January? Am I going to keep this up? I have a Garmin watch that tracks my health information, and I went out for a walk, whatever it was, like the 30th of December, and then my watch popped up and said, "Congratulations, you got the Finish Strong badge." And I thought, okay, it'd be interesting to see the number of people that start out strong in January that don't finish at all in December.
Yeah.
But at this point in my life, that's become just kind of a, just kind of a regular routine. And it's paid off.
Mm-hmm.
It has great value in all of these areas.
Absolutely. I remember telling Skylar earlier this year, I was like, oh my goodness, I just got this year to where I'm walking over 10,000 steps a day. Before that, I was averaging like 2,500 steps a day because my job was to sit at home all day and work on your computer job. And the year before that, my average steps per day were like 1,500 to 1,700, something so small like that. And I was, and Dwaine just went out and rode his bike with his wife for 13 miles and it's fine, like I said, there's something really wrong with this picture because like Dwaine could be, obviously you could be my dad because your kids are all older, but I mean, Joe is only 2 years older than me. Joy was 3, right? 3 or 4?
Right. 3,
yeah.
I think.
3, yeah. And I was like, wow, I want to be as fit as Dwaine when I'm his age, but I want to be as fit as Dwaine right now. Like, I should be out doing Dwaine right now, and I'm not. And so that's when we started going to the gym. I was like, I'm ridiculous. Oh my word.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to share, like the Grand Canyon and the Virginia Creeper Trail and Yellowstone and Stehekin, is because I want people to know, you know what? We had a great time doing that.
Yeah.
That's fun. I mean, it is for us. We were down with Joy's kids a few months ago, and and I had them doing this workout video. I know that sounds hard to believe, but and one of the younger ones said something about Grandpa being able to do something, and Naomi looked at him and said, "Are you kidding? Grandpa's in better shape than you are."
That's funny.
I love it. That's
awesome though.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, also I have a mowing business, and I average 14,000 to 22,000 steps a day.
Exactly.
I mean, I average at least I usually average about a minimum of 8 miles a day, and then I think my on one of my days I had like 14 miles or something like that, 12 or 14 miles a day. I mean, I'm always all the time. No, so my dad coming out of jail, like he was worked out in prison,
Right.
and when we got. He was big when he got out of prison. Like he had armed people used to call him Popeye, and he was short and stocky. Got real big, and so him and I would actually go to the gym together, and then oh man, we would work out together, and it was a great opportunity to like. He really taught me on that, like how to overcome like the pain, like the hard things. We played basketball, shoot basketball. I remember as you were talking, I remember him and I never like, I'd run in sports stuff, but I would never like run for just running for the sake of running. So I guess he was run like every day. And so coming out of prison, he was like, we need to run. I want to run. I was like, okay, well, I'll run with you. It was cold. It was snowing. It was raining. I remember one time I was thinking about when you were talking, I bundled up in 3 pairs of sweatpants, sweatshirts. And I was bundling up and it was cold and my chest was hurting. But I remember him and I running. And he said, you can do this. He looked over at me. And he said, you can do this. And I said, I will. And he goes, I'm right here with you. And we slowed down a little bit. And I remember it hurt real bad. We ended up working up. We ran like 5 miles at one time. And so, yeah, but like, it was, like a lot of bonding time, you know what I mean? And overcoming
Yes.
pain. overcoming the challenges that come against you. That pain is only temporary. You know what I mean? So
There's so many lessons to this.
yeah,
Mhm.
You know, I mean, like I started to say earlier, Margaret, didn't do athletics in school,
yeah,
and she really didn't believe she could do things like this.
hmm
But now, um, you know, we're getting ready to go to Washington State. We were walking 4 miles a day, and then halfway through our little route, there were these stairs we were doing. There were like, I don't know, 50 stairs.
hmm
So we'd, kind of jog up the stairs and back down a few times and then finish our 4 miles. And so you're right. You can do this.
yep,
I mean,
yep,
if there's a message out of all of this,
yeah.
it's just start.
Just
Go
start.
do it. Yep.
Yep. Well, the start and then it's just finish strong. Finish like you said, finish strong. If you can finish, start but then finish. But I mean, don't set yourself up for failure. Start with you have to start somewhere. So just start and then
Yep.
learn, build your way up. But it's great. I mean, it's great not only for you, but fit for you, but fit for your family, because then it creates a bonding time that you guys have had. I've
Yeah.
had. I mean, it's because when her and I work out, I mean, it's fun. We make it fun,
Yep.
and we enjoy working out together. And I mean, I love when my kids work out. I try to play basketball with my daughter, and sometimes she didn't let me because she's like, "You're a little too into this." And so,
But
but
you know what? That's part of the parenting thing, right? That your kid goes, "Wow, Dad can do this."
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She's like, "You're awesome." I told her one day, I said, "Now we're going to go check the mail, and when we get down to the mailbox, I want to turn around and we grab the mail. We're going to race back up to the house." And she goes,
Yeah. Good for you.
and she goes, "Wait, what?" And I said, "In my boots." And then she goes, "In your boots?" And I said, "Yep." I said, "We're going to do it." And I said, "I guarantee I'm going to beat you too." And she goes, "Challenge accepted." And so we race back up. I mean, it's just fun. I mean, you can make it fun, and it's a bonding time too. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So
It combines everything, right?
yeah,
I mean, fitness doesn't require organization. It
no,
doesn't require some special activity. One of the most fun times we'd had a huge rain, and so we just went for a walk, and about 3 miles from our house,
yep,
there was just this massive ditch full of water. So we ended up, jumping in the water and splashing all around. We were all soaking wet, and then we had a 3 mile back trip. But I mean, our kids remember that. That is one of the most fun things. I don't know if that says we never did fun things. If walking 3 miles and jumping in a ditch,
yeah,
but it's fitness. It's bonding. It's relationship.
yep.
And laughter. Laughter is a big part of that.
It is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure. I love going on walks with our daughter because she really will open up during that time, and it's just like you said about going and riding bikes. Um, some of my most memorable conversations are from when we just went out on walks. But I love too how you've talked about doing things that can almost seem impossible to a point where maybe you or your kids or your grandkids get to a point where it's like, I don't know if I can do this. And then by the end, it's like, no, I can do
yeah,
anything. You know,
yeah.
you're overcoming challenges and obstacles together as a family. I think that's a beautiful thing.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I was going to say something that comes to mind on one of these Thursdays with Dwayne. I think your mindset, like going into some of this, family and everything like that, and just doing fitness as a family, just overcoming tough things that come against you. You know what I mean? It's not it's no matter how high the mountain, right? No matter how high the mountain, you're like, I'm gonna do what I need to do to get up to the top, and to get out of here, to get through this. And so,
And you're teaching some of those lessons without teaching some of those lessons,
mhm,
right? I
yeah,
mean, I will say this: our 4 kids now, they're 38 to 48, somewhere in there, and they have self confidence. They have belief.
yeah,
They're willing to take risks. They seek adventure.
yeah,
And when we've talked before about begin with the end in mind,
mhm,
Mhm.
I would want my kids to have all of those things.
yeah. Right.
So good.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
love it.
Praise the Lord.
Oh, this has been so good. Again, always. Thank you,
Always.
Dwayne, so much. We are I just wanted to briefly mention we're actually
Yeah.
going on a mission trip to Africa this year in August as a family. We're really excited. We're going to spend the first week in Uganda and the second week in Kenya. We get to teach on marriage and bring them Bibles. And
Yeah.
so, for anybody who's watching, if you want to partner with us, I'm going to put a link in the comments, and you could go and sow into what God's doing in His kingdom work. We get to be a huge part of sharing the gospel and sowing into thousands of people's lives. And I think that's so exciting. So our goal is to raise at least $1,500 to bring Bibles with us to Uganda in August this year. Our trip's going to be about $12,000 for the 2-week trip to Uganda in Kenya. And we get to share the gospel and teach about marriage both weeks. So I can't wait.
Exciting.
Yeah, if you want to be part of that, I'll put the link in the comments. But thank you so much, Dwayne.
Yes,
Make sure
thank
to
you.
join us every Thursday night. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, Sozo Mountain Ministries, at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's always a beautiful time.
Awesome.
Learn so much.
Yes.
We call it Parenting 101 because there's just so many parenting lessons in it. It's really awesome. We love you guys, but more importantly,
Jesus loves you, and we'll see you next time.
have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Night.